First time she had breast cancer, she was 34 years old. Went through the chemo, the radiation, the surgeries, and a year went by and the doctors kept telling me that she was in remission. But I kept telling everybody that she was a miracle from God. Amen?
Amen.
And we went on. But you know, 14 years later, that cancer came back. It was stronger, it was worse. And you know how the enemy works? He'll start working on your mind. And he'll start talking to you things like, well, what if you were telling the whole world that she had received a miracle, and look at her. The doctors told me that the cancer was back. It was 10 times worse. And the enemy comes against you, and before you know it, you're fearful. You got fear. I had it. I talked to the doctors. They told me that it was 10 times worse. And so I went to my wife and I said, aren't you fearful? Aren't you scared? Aren't you worried? And she looked at me and she said, no. In the Bible, 2 Timothy 1:7, she said, for I have not given you the spirit of fear, but of power and of a sound mind. Amen? That's what my wife told me, and I'm like, wow, this girl knows the word. And then she starts telling me stuff like this. Look, if he heals me, I get to stay with you. If he doesn't heal me, I'm going to be with him. So either way, I'm going to win. But you know what? She's about 7 months away from being 62 years old. And she's still here, and she's still holding on to God's hand. Amen?
Amen.
But she gave me the song because she said the first verse talks about me. But the second verse talks about my younger son. Now, my younger son, Jacob, graduated from high school, and then he drifted into the world of drugs, alcohol, in and out of rehabs, in and out of jail. He was facing 3 years in prison. And for 7 years, my son was out of that world. And the enemy came against me again. It's like, man, you're trying to save the whole world. And you can't even save your own son. It was tough. 7 years of not knowing. And every time I would run into him and he'd be at the house and I'd talk to him, I could look into his eyes. He was there, but he was a million miles away. Family would come in the front door and my son would run out the back. How many of you know what I'm talking about? That's how the enemy works. And he was talking to me like, man. But I kept talking to my son, your testimony, Jacob, is going to be your weapon against the devil himself. And he would run out the door, you're crazy, Dad. I don't know what you're talking about. But folks, 12 years ago, I opened the door to a bedroom where my son was at. Had a needle in his arm. And he dropped it on the floor. And he began to cry. And he said that he was worthless. And my heart went out to him because I said, you're not worthless to me. You're not worthless to my Heavenly Father. He gave his only begotten Son so people just like you could be saved. And you know what, folks? 12 years ago, my son prayed a simple prayer. The prayer was simply, forgive me for my sin and come into my heart. Can't get no more simple than that. But 12 years ago, 12 years later, my son is married, has 2 beautiful kids, has a great job, lives in California, and he's still holding on to God. Amen?
Amen.
So, sometimes I get too emotional. I can't hold back the tears because I've cried those tears of pain and sorrow. But man, these are tears of joy. My son calls me every single day. And every day, he tells me I'm still holding on. So it doesn't matter what you're going through this morning. Continue to have faith. Continue to trust in God. Amen?
Amen.
He'll reach that level that you care about. Listen to the words of this song and let it bless you.
You know, my brother was, and he shared this testimony like I've shared mine countless times. But it will never, ever lose its power, amen. To those that have heard it many times, especially to those that may be listening to it for the very first time. Nobody knows except you, except us, the dark moments in our lives. Those 7 years that my brother spoke about. We all went through it as a family. I remember the nights at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when my phone would ring right next to my bed. And I'd pick it up and I'd look at the caller ID and I knew that it was my brother. And I'd answer it immediately and I'd say, "Hey, what's up?" And my brother would tell me, he said, "I got to go look for Jacob. Because Billy, his wife, my sister-in-law, says she can't sleep." She said, "I wake up countless nights and she's not in bed and I see her. She's sitting by the window. A mom sitting at the window looking out into the darkness. And every time that I walk up to her, I say, 'What are you doing, honey?' She says, 'Where's my son? Where is Jacob?' She said, 'Carlos, we don't know if he's even alive. Haven't spoken to him in weeks, sometimes months. Where's my son?' And I would ask him, I'm going to go with you. And he said, 'No, Shay's going with me. I'm ready to call Shay. We're going to go pick him up. We're going to look for him.' And he said, 'I'm just calling you. Sorry to wake you up, but just wanted to ask you to pray.'
Amen.
Pray. Pray that we find him. And pray that he's alive. And pray that God will change his life." And God answered that prayer. Amen. And let me tell you something. If God can answer our prayers, God can answer yours. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what the devil is using to hold you in his grasp. But you hold the key for the breakthrough. Amen? For the breakthrough. If you just trust and believe in God and determine in your heart that enough is enough. It's up to you. My brother would tell me about what Jacob would say. "I'm worthless. What would God, your God, want to do with anything to do with anybody like me, as worthless as I am?" And I told him one time, I said, "Jacob, let me tell you how worthless you are. You are so worthless that a man was willing to die for you. Willing to die for you." I said, "That's not being worthless. That's being worth everything to him." So when my brother sings this song, I don't know who is here this morning that needs a breakthrough. I don't know who is here this morning that would be willing to say, "You know what? I need to hold on to God's hand. And today is the day that I do that. Today is the day that I receive my breakthrough. And today is the day that I will determine in my heart that I will say no to the world. And I will say yes to this man who loves me so much." So as my brother sings this song, you know, and you make that choice, that decision, I want you to stand where you're at. Right there where you're at. That shows that you are determined, and it shows your faith in him. As he sings this song, I want you to don't sit there. If you're willing to change your life and let God help you change it, then make the choice this morning. I'm still holding on, and you can do the same. Listen to the words. Just stand wherever you're. If you need a breakthrough, just stand right now.
People said I'd never make it. I'd never see it through. But they don't know what keeps me going. I guess they never have met you. into laughter.
Yes, He can.
You gave me a brand new song. I'm still holding on. Lord, I'll never let you go. You gave me a smile. You touched my heart. You touched my soul. And the bridges left behind me, Lord, I burned them to the ground. I'm still holding on. You're the best thing I ever found. What would it likely not to prosper? Was left hanging over my head.
Listen.
You'll never count for nothing. That's what most people say. I've been known to be unsettled, never stayed around too long.
Thank you, Lord.
But you're the treasure I was searching for.
That's right.
Lord, I'm still holding on.
Thank you, Lord. Hallelujah.
I'm still holding on. Lord, I'll never let you go. You gave me a smile. You touched my heart. You touched my soul. And the bridge is left behind me. Lord, I burned them to the ground. I'm still holding on. You're the best thing I ever found. And the bridge is left behind me. Lord, I burned them to the ground. I'm still holding on. You're the best thing I ever found. I'm still holding on. You're the best thing I ever found.
Oh, give the Lord heaven praise. Amen. Amen. We're going to sing one final song here this morning.